Hey everybody, it's Elysia, your Mortgage Millions mentor, and I'm so excited to have Anna back again with me today. I was going to say Anna needs no introduction. She is a huge producer. Look at her, shake her head. She's so humble. Anna's been in the business longer than me. I'll let her say how many years if she wants to. And obviously she looks like she started yesterday. So the market and the industry has been very kind to her. So, but that doesn't go without hard work. And I'm so grateful that Anna would take time out of her busy schedule to be with us today. I think we have a lot of interesting things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about what's not working right now for loan officers. We're going to talk about what is working for loan officers, and particularly, what's working for Anna and myself as well. So I'm super excited to have Anna on here. If you haven't seen the other videos, Anna's been kind enough to take time out of her busy schedule to do on the channel. Please go check those out. Anna is a $70 million producer. She is no joke. She is serious. And not only that, but she has a wonderful, kind heart. And she's so committed to doing the right things for her clients. And that's one of the things that stands out now more than ever. I mean, I've talked about, the stats started at 20%, 22% of loan officers are going to exit the industry this year. Now it's 33%. I mean, it might even be more. We're also looking at maybe 33% of realtors exiting the industry. So it's time to really double down if you're serious about this business. And I'm not joking when I say if you don't love this business, now's a great time to go do something else. It really is. The industry is changing. The market is changing. The economy is changing. Our country is changing, right? I think we have all these, if you've heard of the fourth turning or read anything, that book, there's some great information. Tony Robbins just did a great interview with, there were two authors of that book with one of the authors. And it's a very interesting time. And if you're paying attention to what's going on, you're well ahead of a lot of other people. So enough about that. I'll let Anna add anything else she wants to about herself, because she is phenomenal and amazing. And again, I'm just humbled to have her on with me. So
thank you. Thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it. And I will disclose how long I've been in the business, actually, because just this weekend, I celebrated my 39th year in the business. Super shocking. So yeah, I was telling all my real estate agents, make sure you support me for another year so I can make it to 40.
That'd be awesome.
We'll have a big party
campaign.
So, yeah, exactly. Keep Anna in the business another year.
Yes, 4-0, the big 4-0.
Why not have fun? But as you were talking, I was just reflecting on something we spoke about in one of our past videos. We spoke about being a transactional loan officer versus a relational loan officer. And I'm super relational, right? And so when you're talking about those 22, 33, 50%, whatever's going to leave the market, I'll guarantee you those are going to be those transactional ones, right? Those ones that were in for the money, in for the quick turn, in for the refis, things like that. So that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. Because right now where we're going and where we are is we're a professionals market now.
Well said.
I am so happy that we're in this market, because this is where we get to get market share. And, if we've done the right things in the past, this is our time to now really shine and grow market share, just become even more professional. So it should be exciting for those loan officers that have been doing the right thing. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, but I think they're going to reach that point, and then it's going to be like, woo, all this work just really, really paid off.
Yeah, I agree, because I mean, we both were in the industry in 2007, 8, 9, right? And I feel like if you double down, right? Because I went from being a loan officer to opening a branch during that time, and people were like, "Are you crazy?" And I was like, "I don't think so. Like, I think this is a good move for me."
Yeah, plant the seeds.
Yeah, and I just think if you're committed to this industry and you're doing the right activities, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes, that it is an amazing time to shine, and get market share and stand out. My concern is for because the transactional people, I kind of, no offense, but I don't like, if you don't have any heart in the business,
Right.
it's okay, you know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't work. But the people who have heart and who are new,
Yeah.
maybe, so I feel like they're panicked, because it's interesting, because what I notice, and tell me what you feel, is I'm not panicked at all. I'm just like, been here, done that, high rates, no problem.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, and if anything, the inventory situation last year was more stressful for me. Like, once I figured out how to handle it and how I could help everybody, and pull the two, you know, the realtors and the buyers together, and the listing agents as well. And I saw that I was good, but that actually was a little bit more, you know, figuring that out than right now, because I feel like we've been here
Right.
before, right? I mean, you know, we can all talk about our first, second, and third houses and how much we paid for the rates then, you know,
Yeah.
but also then we weren't in a 3 million unit, you know, a shortage of 3 million
Right.
homes.
Yeah.
So,
right. And you know, you mentioned the new loan officers, and I don't, you remember the days when we were recruiting loan officers, we always wanted to talk to them about, do you have 6 months saved, because it's going to take you time to get started. I don't know if loan officers are still following those rules, you know, or if they just jumped in, because you do worry about them. You know, you worry, you know, are you going to be able to pay your bills and get through the end of the year, right? So if they followed the old mantra of have at least 6 months in the bank before you get in the business, because you might be skinny for a while, then, you know, then they should be able to make it through. If they didn't, then they're going to have to get a part-time job, or you know what I mean? They're going to have to make ends meet. But of course, we always worry about them, and all we can do is really coach them through it, guide them through it, and hopefully they do it, though, right?
yes,
We can't do it for them.
yeah, I believe in that 6 months. I actually have a video for new loan officers, and that's one of the things I mentioned. So,
Yes.
But it's interesting, because I also see them and feel them, and when I talk to them, they're super stressed. So it's kind of like, to me, it's just a fun challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm not stressed, because
And they do have to relax and breathe, otherwise they will demonstrate that stress to the market.
Yes, you do not want to be talking to your clients when you're stressed out, because
Right.
they can hear it,
They'll
can
sense
feel
it.
it. Doesn't matter if it's on the phone and you're not even in person or on Zoom.
Right.
They know, people
Yep.
know, you know, so I'm glad you brought that up, because
And that's actually even our real estate partners. I've been having discussions with them about that too. You know, here are some words you can say, here are some things you can do, because you have to believe in the market, right? You have to believe in real estate. So if you don't, your clients are going to sense it also, right? So
yes, and I did a video on this a while back. It's, if this is your profession, act like it.
correct.
Right? Know your numbers, know your information, right? I mean, daily updates for your clients, or whether that's realtors, you know, or loan officers to their end clients, or realtors to their clients. It's all so important, because this is when, like, you know, the rubber meets the road, right? Because just like you said, it's a business for professionals now, not transactional loan officers. And that's so important, because it applies to realtors too. And I also feel along those lines, now more than ever is a great time for loan officers to be resources for our realtors.
Yes. Yes.
There's so
Helping
much
them navigate the market, understand what's coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They all got hit by a train in our area, like on May 15th. You know what I mean? So it's just like all of a sudden they're going like deers. What happened?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen a little bit. We've seen a slowdown as well here in Florida. I know you're in California, so
yes.
It's slowing down, but I will say we are very fortunate. You know, Texas and Florida are two of the states where people are still relocating. So we're definitely, I feel in our state, we're definitely blessed. But yeah, let's talk about what you're doing right now. Let's talk about what's going on in your market.
Yeah. So our market, so I'm in Northern California, and I'm specifically in the Bay Area. So I have a lot of Silicon Valley influence in our area. So talk about volatility, right? So not only are interest rates going up, home prices are still, really high in my area, but a lot of my, executives and workers got their stock portfolios hit by 50%. So,
Mhm.
a lot of our clients have RSUs, the restricted stock options from their employers. So it's hard for them when their portfolio is down 50% to then want to take money out to buy a house, because they're stressed, obviously, by that drop in the stock market. That's where we have to have real hard conversations with them about the history of real estate and, everything like that, that it's still a great investment long term, that they have to look at it long term versus short term, maybe go in with them on lower down payment options for them. So that's what we're dealing with. Houses are sitting on the market a little longer. If it's not priced right, which some sellers don't want to face reality yet. We've had some houses sit on the market 60 days, but really our average number of days went from 7 days to 18 days, I believe, just the other day. That's still great. I mean,
That's
think about that.
amazing.
I know, think about that number, right?
18 days on the market. I mean, if this was 5 years ago, everybody would be thrilled.
Exactly. Right. So it's all about pricing right now. So I think the real estate agents have a fantastic opportunity to show their professionalism, not let the sellers guide them and them guide the sellers and explain the reasons why, So we're still seeing a lot of buyer activity. It's just taking a lot more conversations, a lot, so last week, I think in one day I had like 8 pre-qualifications to do. None of them were in contract yet. You just have to, it's emotional control, but at a different way now, right? Whereas over the last year, we were like trying to just keep them in the game, that they were getting beat out and overbid. And now we're just trying to talk to them about, yes, rates are higher, but don't worry about it. Rates, when they cycle back down, we could refinance you. You could still afford it, So it's a different type of emotional, because right now they have the opportunity to go get their house. So
Yeah,
they
and I
just
think
have to say, oops, I'm going to pay more in rate for it.
But if you wanted that house and you were getting beat out, by the competition for a year, now's a great opportunity.
Right.
And
I am seeing buyers return.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing a lot of buyers that just had buyer fatigue.
Yes.
They're finally coming back and they're like, okay, we understand rates are higher, but we're committed to buying. So they're coming back. So that's sort of exciting. I mean, I think I had 2 this last week that were a year ago that I was talking to them, and they said, okay, we're ready to come back in. So that's wonderful. So they do have the opportunity now, which is a great thing.
That's phenomenal. So I also want to talk about what's not working and what's working, but you just reminded me what's working. So we will come back to that. But let's start with, I see a lot of panic. Actually, I wanted to ask you one thing. I thought this was fascinating. I've been talking to a lot of newer loan officers, and they're telling me, the millennial generation is raised on smartphones, right? So they are very quick to text a client or a realtor, but not to pick up the phone. What do you think about that?
So hard. It's so hard to communicate everything that you need to communicate. And especially it's the largest transaction of your life. And they want to text about it, So sometimes,
and actually on opposite ends too, millennial clients want to not just talk about the loan officers or millennials, but also, and it's like, this is really a conversation. So it's a back and forth, especially right now in this market.
Right. So sometimes I'll send a text saying, hey, this is Anna Rotolo, capture my phone number because I'm about to call you.
I love it.
So, because you can't get everything across on text. I mean, they might think they understand everything via text, but there's so many details, right? And
I mean, it's great
questions that they have that they think they can Google and get the answer, but they really can't,
Good example. Yeah, I was just going to say, so text is great for initial intro, for setting up an appointment, for, micro commitments of trust and building a relationship. But those are all great steps. and they're so important. And then you still have to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Right. Because it's like, I have, even clients where you have a conversation and then you're still not on the same page. You're like,
Right.
oh yeah.
Right.
So
Pick
it's
up the
that
phone.
check. Yeah. Right. Check and recheck just to make sure, okay, this is what I understand is correct. Right. So goodness. All right. Well, let's talk about what's not working in this market right now. What would you think? What's
Oh
your
boy,
opinion on?
that's a loaded question. What's not working? Well, nothing that, I mean, like, I'm not doing any of this.
Right. Yeah. So
I think right now, I'm going to say something. I don't have any stats on this. I'm just going to give you a gut check statement. Okay.
fair
I
enough.
think a lot of people right now want to throw money at finding a solution. So whether that be suddenly I see people spending thousands of dollars on their websites to have whatever
Loan
happen,
officers. Yeah.
or I see them wanting to start these massive marketing campaigns, or they're, buying leads suddenly, or they're whatever they are doing. I'm seeing a lot of them want to go at it money first. I don't know. I mean, if you don't have the base and you don't have the relationship and the reputation, I just don't know if money first is going to solve it. And I would think you're probably a little bit lighter on money right now. So I think there's a lot more things that you could be doing that would be more effective and probably way less expensive, which I know are way less expensive because it's the old going back to basics right now. I think real estate agents and loan officers all are going to go back to basics to survive through this, what we're going through right now.
It's interesting you say that too, because the other piece of that is you only have limited time, right? There's only so many hours in a day.
Yes.
Why would you try something totally new that you're not sure if it works, and you're going to spend money and you have to learn how to do it, right? Like if you're going to go start on Facebook ads or a marketing campaign, I mean, if your marketing team at your company isn't going to run the whole thing, then you're running your marketing campaign, right? The challenge for individual loan officers. So why would you take time and money to do something? I mean, I get it. Like you shiny object, like you said earlier, right? It's like, oh, I think I'm going to try that because this isn't working. And it's like, we all, and there's a panic, loan officers. I feel like my heart goes out, for them, because there's so many just having a struggle right now,
right?
Whether they've been in the business for 2 years or 10 years,
right? Are you seeing stuff that's not working that I didn't mention?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. I think that's pretty much it. Like marketing campaigns. I think people are just trying new things because they want to, it's like I'm going to throw this on the wall and see if it sticks.
Right.
And I just think now is not a time. Like for me, I'm so conservative. Like a time for that is when I have plenty of money.
You have a lot of money. Absolutely.
Right. So that would have been the last few years. But to try something, and I'm not saying don't try anything new. Right. So there's plenty of new things that are out there, but see what's working. I mean, I just talked to a loan officer actually, and a realtor yesterday at a social gathering. And they were saying that they spent money on Facebook ads in the last 5 years. It hasn't worked. And so then I hear,
so let's keep doing what doesn't work.
Yes. And it's so fascinating.
How long do you give something, right?
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, I learned from Tony Robbins, right? Just change your approach. Doesn't mean you're not going to get your outcome, but try something different.
Right. And if you try something new, you have to have metrics around what is success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to buy Facebook ads or if you're going to buy leads, how long are you going to give it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think you have to give it at least a year if you're going to truly be committed to it, but then you have to measure your results.
Sure. Absolutely. That's so fascinating too, because loan officers are so, in general, right? We are so bad at measuring
what
really works.
It feels good.
Yeah. right? Oh,
I got
my
all these
phone rang.
leads, I got all these leads, but
Right. It's kind
you
of like
get any loans,
Zillow. When that first all that partnership with realtors came out with Zillow,
right?
okay, well you're getting a lot of emails, but are you actually? And I coach loan officers one-on-one as well, and I was talking with one at the beginning of this year, and he could not give me his stats on what actually closed from a partner he had with Zillow for 12 months, and he was spending like over $2,000 a month. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so you've spent $24,000 and you're not
You're
sure
not
if
tracking.
yeah. And it's just like, it's one of those things because, he felt like you had to do it for the realtor, which I get that. But wouldn't it be better what if you tried a different approach and actually came up with a marketing plan together where you and your realtor both would be growing your business together, right? Because they want to close deals as much as you want to close deals.
Right.
Right. I mean, I would hope they just don't want you to cut that check. I mean, so we're going to go with the bigger and better, right? They want to grow. So why don't you like sit down and actually have a plan? Like, what are actually their goals for the year? How can you help them get there? Share your goals, right? Because you both want to be invested in each other emotionally as well. If you're going to do it financially,
Right.
why wouldn't you be invested emotionally in the other person's success? So yeah, it's so interesting. So then let's talk about well, first of all, like what should loan officers even be measuring, right? Because I talked to a lot of loan officers where they just threw out last year as an anomaly because it was so off the charts.
Maybe they should throw out the refis, but not the whole year.
Yep. So then what are you going to compare yourself to? What is really, and it sounds silly because we're more than halfway through the year.
Yeah. Can you
But
believe
like loan officers don't have their goals. Like, it's kind of like, oh, I just want to do what I did last year. Well, how's that working for you? Right.
Yeah. I just had my one-on-ones with my entire team to say, are you resetting your goals? What do you want to achieve for the next 6 months? Well, it's now 5 months, but you know what I mean? Because they have to be clear on what they're trying to achieve for the next 5 months. And I think we even need to almost shorten that right now. I think to keep our loan officers motivated and engaged, we have to almost go to weekly or bi-weekly, month at the longest goals, where it's like, okay, I'm going to call on 10 real estate agents. I'm going to attend 2 marketing meetings. We have to keep them very activity based to stay motivated and doing the right things to achieve success. Now, where the pain point comes is they might not see success in loans right now, but that's where I go back to the beginning where I say, but this is the opportunity where when the shift happens, all of a sudden they're like, aha, they've been doing the right things. So.
Agreed. So tell me, like, what else, what are your probably top 3 tips you're sharing with your loan officers right now?
Stay active, stay visible, call, visit. Just last week alone, we probably had 4 events, 2 webinars, 1 live. We did I partnered up with a real estate manager of a firm, and we did a mid-year mastermind, and we had 5 real estate agents from different companies, top producers, on a panel. It was live. We had 110 attendees.
Wow,
it was
that's
phenomenal. I didn't have to have champagne and wine. I did water, you know what I mean? We had light snacks, nothing. We didn't go crazy. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You can keep it pretty low budget, and have a great event. The real estate agents were so appreciative of having the ability to talk to top producers and what are they doing in this market? How are they pivoting? How are they changing? What are they saying to their clients? It was phenomenal. Everyone can go do that, right? You can go even just do it in your office. Go grab 5 real estate agents and have them talk, right? We had an appraiser. We've probably done the appraiser webinar 3 times over the last month and a half, talking about the stats in our local market, right? Days on market, cost per square foot, number of offers per listing, percentage over asking price. Great information for real estate agents to have when they're going out to, meet with a potential listing. So everything like that. But I'm saying to them, get out to Rotary, get out to Chamber of Commerce, get out to your marketing meetings, be visible again, be relational, always be relational, but even be more relational than call. So
I think, sir, it's such a great opportunity. We touched on it briefly earlier. It's such a great opportunity to serve as a resource.
yes.
And it's interesting how sometimes, even realtors don't connect with people in their own office, right? Especially since COVID, a lot of them feel like they're out on an island.
Right.
And it's time to circle up. Let's huddle up and help each other and help the realtors and have them help each other.
Yeah. What's going to be really interesting is coming into this market, there were some real estate agents that weren't so nice in the last market. So hopefully I think, what I'm hopeful for is that they're all going to bring back that, respect of others and just, things like returning calls and acknowledging receipt of offers and responding, things like that, that, like I said, a professional always does. So
agreed.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Are you guys doing any activities that I didn't mention?
No, it's so funny because, just had a huge, training for realtors. So exactly all the things you're saying, educate, empower. I think also just spending time, with your realtors in terms of, it still goes back to for example, some realtors just think that FHA means the client doesn't really qualify. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's so many misperceptions, and explaining, just having conversations now that there is a little more time.
Yeah. That is actually a benefit right now of this market. We can bring back some of those first time home buyer programs and, the sellers will look at them now versus, a lot of our first time home buyers were, getting thrown aside and, their down payment assistance programs weren't getting accepted, things like that. So that's nice that we could bring in, more people into the fold of buying a home.
It is, I agree. And it's interesting because Florida just launched a new program June 1st. They call it Hometown Heroes. And it's, veterans as well as first responders, people in healthcare.
Nice.
It's a phenomenal program. So there's lots of funds available for that. And it's great. It's a great program. It's amazing. And the income caps are higher, much higher than we've seen in the past. And the loan amounts are much higher. So it is really nice to have that opportunity.
Right.
And then also, since we brought up loan programs like Lock and Shop, I mean, it's amazing actually how much stress you can take off the buyer if you have the right loan programs for them to pick from.
Right.
And how to use them, right? There's that too, because there are still opportunities where people are losing to cash offers, and there are programs now that their financed offer can be as good as cash.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So again, it's just being a professional and having knowledge in the industry, of the market, of what's going on, and also loan programs. And I feel like it's actually very exciting that there are so many loan programs available right now. And
keeping educated is going to be extremely important.
Yeah, because I see some loan officers aren't even talking about their Lock and Shop. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Why do you want to run ads when you can actually just call everybody you've closed, right? Because, and here's the other thing too, people I've closed 3-4 years ago are still they're coming back and asking about cash out. They have equity. They want to redo their kitchen. They want to add a porch. They want to get the cash out to do a pool, and rates are up a little bit, but if that's what they want to do is take that equity out of their home.
See if it makes sense for them to do that or a HELOC, but guide them and have them coming to you for that information.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you're calling your past clients, all right, so let's talk about what's working, right? We're both people, right? People person. I'm a people person. So you're a people person, right? I want to talk to my clients. I want to, hey, how are you? What's going on in the market? Are you an empty nester now, right?
Right.
Or, and two, I also think, anytime we have so many great opportunities, right? To just pick up the phone and call your clients, and it can be out of the blue, but it doesn't have to be, right? Happy birthday.
Easy.
We all have their birthdays, right? Happy birthday. Happy anniversary of when you bought your house.
Right. And
Right.
look at all their appreciation that they got in that year. Why not celebrate that?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Great point. And then also you have, we just had 4th of July a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You could just call them and say, how is that summer kitchen you put in?
Right.
Right. Did you have the family? Are you enjoying it? One of the huge shifts that's going on in our entire country right now is that people are spending more time in their homes.
Right.
We help them get their home. Like there's so much to talk about, right? So
I talk about my chickens with a lot of my clients.
oh right, I forgot you have chickens. Yeah. So you can have chickens here too. It was a back and forth for a little while, but it's been a couple of years on the clear. So yeah, there's so many fascinating things. It's so funny you brought that up. I just had a client that just closed earlier the month, and she was so excited to get in there and have her chickens. So it's great.
There's so much you can talk to people about, right? If you want to. Whether it's chickens or football or, the fair was in town here. Just be human.
Yeah.
Everyone always asks me, like, what do you say?
Mhm.
I say hello.
Hi. Right. And then I also find asking questions.
How are you? What's new?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be rocket science.
Right.
And it's not like you're calling somebody out of the blue because, so that's a good point. If you did the proper things during the loan process and built the relationship, there should be no problem to call your people.
Right.
So I can kind of see where people didn't do that. Then it might be awkward or uncomfortable, but for goodness sakes, like, this is a people business.
Right. And hopefully they kept their database up and, kept their CRM up so that they know a few things about the person or,
Yeah. And if not, and this is where I always suggest that loan officers do this before they meet a new realtor. Like you don't have to stalk them, but Google them.
Right.
Well, you want to be able to meet with them. And I do anyway, because I want to have a genuine appreciation for who's spending their time with me, right? Appreciation for them, like whether they're a top producer or not, right? Because if let's just say they're new realtor, oh my gosh, like what an exciting and challenging time, right? There's so much to talk about right there. Why'd you pick now? You got some guts, like, do you know somebody in the business? Like what inspired you?
Yeah. You just brought up a great point. You said Google the real estate agents. Why don't you Google yourself too as a new loan officer? Let's go back to basics, right? So make sure your website is proper and up to date. Let's make sure you have a Google listing, first of all, right?
Excellent point.
So, those basics, I was talking when I was at the mid-year mastermind, I said to the real estate agents, I said, in this room, I can tell you, many of you don't even have your email on your website. So apparently it's going to be difficult for a client to reach you. Like, and they're like all of a sudden, like looking around, so we have to go audit ourselves on our, before we're going out and doing these huge campaigns, are our sites even right? Are they up to date? Do we have reviews on them? Are we posting on them? So
that's an excellent point. Yeah, I suggest loan officers review at least once a month. And if you can't do that, do once a quarter. But yeah, and then, what needs to change, what needs to be updated, and especially in this market right now. For sure. But also, you can Google that client that you haven't talked to in 3 years. Right. Because one of the things I always do is usually send a friend request. right? So that, and Facebook, so that when we get a good review, we can tag that client and share it. So, and it's interesting too, because I've had many past clients who, we did purchases, with, that came back to me for refi and cash out, and they just hit me in Facebook Messenger, right? It's fantastic.
Right.
It's great, you know, and then if your company can do some automated campaigns to the email list, that's great as well. But yeah, I don't know if I would again spend ads, because I also feel like, what if you know, you haven't talked to your clients and then you did ads and they saw you, like that might be good. Like, oh, how's that? You know, oh yeah, I could call her now for my whatever cash out refi, or I feel like it could totally backfire. I haven't heard from them in 2 years. You know, I
That's
don't.
why a lot of clients don't reuse their real estate agent. Actually, the number one reason is I haven't heard from them, right? I
Yes.
would have reused them, but I just didn't hear from them. So don't make that you as a loan officer also.
Good point.
Right?
Excellent point. What also is working is, I think I've seen a lot of traction with open houses are kind of back.
We've been
So
working a couple of open houses, not a ton. What we like better, do you guys have brokers tours there?
yes, oh yes.
We like brokers tours a little better, because then you have a lot of real estate agents coming in that you could then be socializing with, talking with. Open houses, I don't know how many you're getting in your open houses. If we get right now, if we get 3 in an open house, buyers come through, that's sort of a good number right now.
Oh wow, yeah, we're seeing a little bit more.
Okay. So that's why we are doing open houses sporadically, you know, across the team. But we like the brokers opens a little bit more, so that we can get, just, you have to, just like you said, how much time do you have? So
That's an excellent point. The other thing that's really good, if you can get on the caravan.
yes, exactly.
Too, right? When
Or
they're all,
be the caravan, right?
yes.
Say, hey, I can fit 4 people or however many people.
Even better. Absolutely. That's an excellent point. Excellent idea. Thank you. Thank you. What else? Anything else you feel like this is working right now, or any other tidbits for I mean, we covered a lot. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome. You know, no, you brought up something great as far as the goals. And I would say, yes, have your goals, but do not factor in those refinances. So
good point.
Still have a great goal, right? Don't underestimate yourself and your potential, but you have to have reality, right? So I know how much I did in purchase volume last year. If I achieve that same level this year, I actually will have gained market share as far as I'm concerned, right? So that will have been a great accomplishment. So I think reset your goal so that you have a goal, first of all. Increase your activity. Whenever the market slows, you have to increase activity and stay positive. If you're not having a positive day, just maybe take half the day off to, you know, to get yourself refocused and stuff. But if you believe in real estate, if you really believe in real estate, then it will reflect out and people will feel it, and you'll give people that calm and that assurance. So
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because again, you have to be in the right frame of mind. And a lot of people, let's just say you have people relocating, right? They have to move. They're extremely stressed, right? They're starting a new job, right? Those are the top 2 stressors, moving, buying a house, and getting married. So
yep,
if they have that too, you can add that in. But we know if they're relocating, they have the first 2. And I feel like in general, there's a distrust and a frustration that is unfortunately permeating our country right now, which actually makes me sad.
right.
But I feel like your point about, you know, take that time and focus. And, you know, on our builder team, one of the things that we're adamant about is you have to have these, you know, you have to have these conversations, these challenging conversations, right? Because they're not closing for months and months. We, just like you said, we have to be in the right frame of mind,
Right.
To support emotionally our clients right now.
Right.
And I think that it's more important than ever, because they're more stressed than ever.
Right. And there's simple things that we had our team meeting last week and I said to them, how many of you are saying, oh, rates are high right now? Why? Rates are rates. Are they high? Higher than a couple months ago? Yes. Not higher than last decade. So why would you qualify what a rate is? Because that's going to add angst to the conversation, right?
Absolutely.
So there's simple things like that, right? In your language, when you're talking to people, when you're talking to real estate agents. And that's where I said, like, you have to help them get through this, but you can do it in some of your language also by not triggering some of it.
Wonderful. Good point. Good point. Right. Because the last thing you want to do is cause more stress for your realtors and your clients. A lot of people don't realize that, right? The client is looking to us, the loan officers and the realtors, as the professional who's going to guide them, right? I always look at it like it's my goal for that person to have the least amount of stress possible.
Right.
Right. I'm always calling them, sometimes there's some challenges with the loan, right? But again, I'm not going to make that call and say, oh my gosh, we had this issue. Blah, blah, blah. I'll call you back when I figure it out.
Right.
I'm going to figure it out. And you know what I mean? And then that's the way I'm going to address it. We had this issue and here's what we need, blah, blah. We should be in good shape. But the same thing about anything with your client or your realtor, right? You don't want to call them in a panic. And a lot of loan officers, I see them do that. And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? Or the realtor will do that. And I'm like, oh, no. That's not, we want the client to be calm and feel like we're getting taken care of instead of,
And then I see some loan officers hyper focused on rates, like literally where they're comparing like, and I'm like going, you don't have a loan. Go focus on getting a loan. Don't focus on the rates.
Yeah. So it talks about, what's working, right? Focusing on rate when you don't have any deals is not working. That's for sure.
Right.
What are you going to do? An ad about rates? No, come on. Go talk to your people. Just talk to your people. So, and that's the thing too. Like, some clients are still upsizing in this market.
Absolutely.
And if we can qualify them and they want to, I will help them. If that's what they want to do.
Maybe we're going into a 7-1. I hear the buy downs are coming back, the 3-2-1s and stuff. Companies are working on those again. Maybe we'll see a graduated payment mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely. The FHA 2-1.
Yeah.
Right. We're already seeing those. So, I mean, why? It's a perfect solution.
Right. And, a lot of real estate agents, the newer ones especially, have never dealt with seller concessions. So teaching them how sometimes, offering a seller concession versus reducing the price might be the right solution, or, proposing things like that. I wrote it down just on a piece of paper for one of my new real estate agents, showing him the difference and how it benefited the buyer and the seller. And he loved that piece of paper, and he ran around, showed his, other new real estate agent team people. And so we have to remember there's a lot that we have forgotten with our years of experience. And we have to remember that that's how we could help our real estate agents. You were talking about that at the beginning. We have to help them get through this too. Sometimes it's just those things, right?
Yeah. And I think, again, just back to basics. Talk to your people are people, right? They're not a machine, right? They have emotions, they have feelings. People still want to connect with other people. And I feel like now more than ever.
Right.
So why wouldn't you take that opportunity?
Right. Because I think this is a perfect opportunity to really shine.
It is. Yeah. And the thing is too, there are so many transitory and insincere conversations happening in our society right now. If we have the opportunity, if you connect with somebody, I mean, it's so silly, but like my tree trimming guy came by and it was so random, but I was being human. Like, it was hot out. It's Florida, right? It's 100 degrees out. I'm like, can I get you some water? And I always offer that, right? For anybody who comes in working on a house or whatever, inside, outside. And they most of the time say no, because they all carry coolers, but
Right.
he came by at like 6 o'clock. It was the end of the day. And he was like, oh my gosh, I would love some water. So I went and got it. And just while he was, finishing up, whatever, I just asking him questions. And I felt like, just no one, I feel like no one talks to him all day, right? Because he's the tree guy,
Yeah.
right? You see him outside, it's hot. So, and it was just amazing. I felt like, I asked him a few genuine, sincere questions, and we had an amazing conversation. And I was like, wow, like people really, I just feel like people really want that right now, because so much of it is like, get out of my way. You're in my, they can't wait for the stoplight. Like there's all this rush, but there's no connection. So it's just, and I feel like we have this amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
Right now, we still have to do loans, but we can, I don't know, I'm not as frantic as I think I'm much calmer than I was last year. Right. So it's a good time to just relax, do business, plant the seeds, do the right activities, and it will pay off.
Yes, do the right activities, plant the seeds. So that's the thing. If we're doing it, so it's so basic too. If you do the right activities day in and day out,
yep,
the business will be there.
Right.
So awesome.
Perfect.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Anna.
Always.
It's always a pleasure. And ray of sunshine. And I like your new background.
Thank you. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.